Peace, 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 love, abundance, love, and light. I want to welcome you all to Numeralytics. I am Queen B. This is Numbers Matter, episode 26. We are live and direct. Haven't done a live Numbers Matter in quite some time, but I'm happy to come on here today and do a live so we can talk about Michael Jackson because we really need to take a look at what's going on with this movie, do a little bit of decoding with his numerology, and really just show you guys and talk to you guys about the movie and what I thought about it. Also, if anyone's watching in the comments, let me know if you want to go see the movie. Let me know what you thought about it. Also, let me know which channel you're watching me on. You watching me on Numeralytics or you watching me on BTV? So those are the things that I want you to put down in the chat. We have quite a few things to cover. I don't have anything outlined, so we're just going off the cuff. But we are talking about the king of pop, of course, the king of pop, rock and soul, Michael Jackson. Of course, we know he is the hot topic right now because he just had his biopic drop on April 24th, 2026. His nephew Jafar Jackson played him in the movie and did an awesome job. Jafar was one of the standouts. He was one of the highlights in the movie. And I really thought he did a great job. And, it's been a couple weeks now since the movie's been out, or at least a week. And I really just wanted to come on here because everyone's going crazy. Michael Jackson has actually, re-entered all of the top Billboard charts for the current time. So he's continuing to break records. He's continuing to really do what he does as a master builder, as a master visionary, and as a master teacher and a master healer. So there's been a lot of videos out and going on about like what was missing. There's the media that's trashing the movie, and that's another thing we'll get into about why the media is trashing the movie. We'll get into that. And just also, some of the things that were missing. Now, I saw the movie on the night before it came out. So I saw the movie actually on April 23rd. I went with my daughter and we had a great time. I really enjoyed the movie. Um, a lot of people I guess, are expecting something different from this movie. But once I watched the movie, I realized what they're trying to do. They're really trying to show you Michael Jackson, the artist, and the person too. They're trying to show the real side of him and why he was the way he was. It shows you about how he grew up. It shows you everything from his lens. So this is not from a journalist standpoint. This is not from a critic standpoint. This is not, this is just something that was pure, that was showing us Michael Jackson through his lens of an artist and as a person, of what he went through and kind of some of the things how he felt about things. So that's what it was, it wasn't supposed to be about all this other stuff. So what I want to start off by saying about the movie. Well, first let me start with a little bit of his numerology. So let's just take a look at this. I will pull this numerology up. We're not going to go through all of it. I'm just going to go through a little bit of the spread because I want to show you guys, um, hold on, let me see if I can get this back up here on the screen. You know how it goes with the live. So I want to say at the end of 2024, I did a special on the Live with Lloyd show about Michael Jackson and his numerology. So if you guys are following me, you've seen a lot of those shorts going up this week about him and about some of the things that Lloyd and I spoke about on that live. And the all of the slides that I'm showing tonight are from that time. There's nothing new. So when we look at his numerology, we're looking at his birthday, August 29th, 1958. That makes Michael Jackson a life path 6. He is an individual frequency number 11. He's a master number 11. He's born on the 29th. And when we add 2 plus 9, that equals to an 11. So he's a master number 11. His personal universal code is going to be the 2, 7, and 5. And of course, that master number 11. When we add his full name up, and we're going to just do this, we're looking at the Chaldean system. His expression is an 8. So that's fitting because this is episode 26 and 2 plus 6 is 8. So, all the numerology is numerology in right now. And of course, he was a master number 11. He had the master number 22 all through his name. His first name, Michael, adds up to a master number 22. The last name, Jackson, adds up to a master number 22 in the Chaldean system. He has the master number 33 and the master number 44. So I find this really interesting, because when we look at it, and obviously we know the movie is named Michael, so the movie itself is a master number 22. And what I find so interesting about that is the timeline of the movie. Um, so when we look at the timeline of the movie, they cover 22 years of his life. So not only is his first name and his last name a master number 22, the movie is a master number 22, and they cover 22 years of his life. So they start the picture in 1966 and it ends in 1988. Okay. So that's the time frame for the movie. There's going to be a little bit, I should have said spoiler alert. There's going to be some spoilers, not many. And honestly, even if you get a spoiler, it's still worth seeing if you loved Michael Jackson. Because really, the movie was supposed to be a feel good movie for his fans, for his artistry and his legacy, and to talk about the legacy of his artistry. It wasn't for to show his whole entire life and every little thing he went through, even the challenges. It wasn't for that. And to show all the negative stuff in the media. So, people need to get off of that, wanting they just want something negative. That's it. What I want to say about what I feel like everybody is missing about why the media is trashing the Michael Jackson movie. Even before it came out, they trashed it. I think it got like a number 27 on a Rotten Tomatoes. So a lot of the media outlets in the mainstream are trashing the movie. Now, we already know that the media has always been trying to trash Michael Jackson since around 1993, when those allegations came out. A little bit before that, when they started trying to smear his name. And they've always tried to trash him because he had too much power. They didn't like that. So a lot of this stuff that we deal with, you guys, is interconnected. So the entertainment industry, politics, all of this stuff is kind of interconnected with those areas of activity. So we have to think about, um, you know, even when down to the e-files, those e-files where Michael Jackson's in them, but he's actually in them as like a saint. He's in them and they're talking about how much they hate him because he's saving the children, right? And he's saving the children from this island. So you guys, this should let you know right then and there. This is why they trashed the movie. This is why they talk bad about it. Because first of all, I'll say the first reason is because he's a Black American and they don't like that he has that much power, and that much influence, because that's just the bottom line. That's what it is. That's who he is. He has this power. He has this influence, and no one can take it from him. And even though the media tries to bash him, it doesn't work because we all know and love Michael Jackson. So it really just doesn't resonate. It doesn't penetrate to the people who really know him and love him. So, that being said, it does cover those 22 years of his life, which, like I said, I find that really interesting that it's the movie is just a master builder, and that's why I know it's gonna, have a number 2. They've already announced that a second one's coming out. In the first opening weekend of the movie made, $220 million. So there goes another 22. So this movie is filled with, mastery, self-mastery. It's a master builder. This is something that's going to stand a testament of time, just like Michael Jackson does. He stands that testament of time. Okay. So this is what it is. And then I wanted to get in a little bit into the numerology for his nephew, because I thought it was interesting with Jafar, what his numerology is. So Jafar's date of birth, let me see, where do I have it written down? Is July 25th, 1996. So yeah, Jafar is a Leo. He's a Leo number 7. That tells me that he's a specialist. So everything that he did to work on this movie, he was the expert at it. He studied, he took in what he needed to take in, and he really channeled his uncle's energy in this movie. Even from the first scene when you first see him come on as the adult Michael, it's kind of like you kind of jump back because you hear the voice and you're looking around for Michael, but it's Jafar, but he really sounds like Michael. Like he really did a phenomenal job. I just can't talk enough about how Jafar did a great job. But what's so interesting about Jafar's numerology is that he has some numerology that matches his dad. I mean, his uncle, not his dad. So, like I said, his birthday is 7/25/1996. So that right there is a special birthday because when you look at birthday, that birthday is a 7, 7, and 7 because 2 plus 5 is 7. In 1996, when you add it together, that equals a 7. So all of Jafar's cycles are a 7. So that's very interesting. So he'll go through, he's basically living a spiritual life. And I know a lot of people were saying like the spirituality was coming out on set. The director talked about that a lot. He talked about how he felt like Jafar was spiritually channeling Michael, and he was, because he does have that ability. He has that power to do that. One thing that I also found that was interesting is we know that Michael's born in the period of the five as a Virgo, and Jafar's first name adds up to a five. Also, Jafar's first pinnacle and his personal energy factor is a five. Actually, his first and his second pinnacles will be a five. And so that's really interesting. It really matches, and I can really see how Jafar was able to really master his uncle and do this. It's because of his numbers, it's because of who he is. And what's so interesting also about this for Jafar, now, let me see. I got his whole numerology right here. Oh no, that's I got his dad there. I meant to put him in there. So maybe I'll put him in there later in my whammy and we can check that out for him to see what that looks like. So for now, what we're going to do, we're going to look through Michael's timeline that I created, and we are going to go through the timeline, and then I'll just tell you whether that was in the movie or whether that wasn't in the movie. So you guys can like, have that as a reference, for if you ever go watch the movie, or if you're going to watch the movie, let me know if you guys in the audience, if you've seen the movie. If you're here watching live with me, let me know, did you see the movie? I'm going to take that down so we can see this full thing, and let me know what you thought of the movie if you did see the movie. And yeah, Denise said that the movie was fantastic and she's looking forward to my video. Thank you, Queen, for being here. I'm so appreciative of you joining the live. And yeah, so since you saw the movie, this will be great. It'll be some dialogue. Maybe you can chime in a little bit. Um, so the movie, like I said, starts in 1966, but we know Michael was born in 1958. So there's definitely a whole chunk, of a good 10 years that is not in the movie. And this is important because Michael started singing when he was like 5 years old. So, they missed that whole first chunk. And the movie starts off with them as the Jackson Five kids in the living room, rehearsing. And, of course, Joe being Joe. So that's where the movie starts off in 1966. So if we look at this timeline, by 1966, Michael was already well into his career. He had already had a first public singing experience in as 5 years old, like I said. And that's like I said, he's born in the period of the five. He started singing and had his first singing appearance at 5 years old. And where he sang "Climb Every Mountain" at school. So that was really his first appearance. And that was in 1963. So then in 1964, that is when the Jackson Five really got established, and Michael was established as the lead singer, and he lined up second from right. And we know two is one of his key numbers because he's a master number 11. So that was in 1964. And then when we look on this graph at 1966, um, that's when he won the statewide talent show when he was 8 years old and when he sang My Girl. Now, that was in 1966. He was 8 years old. So Michael was 8 years old when the movie started. All right. He was 8 years old when this movie started. Again, that's going to be significant because his expression is an eight. Okay. So this is what happens with all of us through our lives. Our numerology that we're born with kind of follows us throughout our life. Let me get a different, see if I can get the other graphic up here because I thought this one was, no, this is fine. It's the same one. Okay, it's the same one. I didn't know if I had other stuff on the other graphic. So anyway, so the movie starts in 1966 again. So now what I'm going to show you guys is everything that they missed from 1966 up until the Off the Wall, because the movie just kind of, it does like one of those montage type of things when they were the Jackson Five. So it shows Them rehearsing. It shows Joe and his behavior and, kind of whooping on them and disciplining them. And then it just kind of shows them running back and forth and missing school and staying up late. It shows all that kind of stuff, but it's a movie, it's entertainment, you guys. So we can't expect that they're going to show every single thing that happened in this man's life. And it's not going to be, as succinct as we think it'd be because it's entertainment. So anytime something gets turned into a movie for entertainment purposes, there's things that have to come out. There's things that are missing just for time wise and things, just to make the stories more succinct. So what they did was they started in 1966. They showed a few scenes like that. They showed them doing a lot of their performances. Now, in what they didn't show was in 1967, they didn't show them at the Apollo. Um, they didn't show anything about the first record contract through the Stilltown Records. They didn't show that. They didn't show anything about that first single, which was all from 1967 to 1968. And then, they jump kind of into 1969, where they're kind of showing where Michael got signed with, where Michael and the Jacksons, where they all got signed with Motown. So it does show that it shows this getting signed to Motown and them kind of working with Motown and working with Berry Gordy. It shows a little bit of that. And then it kind of jumps right into the Off the Wall. So it skips over the Wiz, which is a very important part of Michael's life. It skips over, well, it does show them being signed with Epic, but it skips over the Wiz, which is really crazy because I thought at least they would at least kind of like reference the Wiz a little bit. But it does not show him in the Wiz, and that is how he met Quincy Jack. This is how he met Quincy Jones. I was about to call him Quincy Jackson. This is how he met Quincy Jones and how everything kind of got started with him, working with Quincy Jones and how the Off the Wall album came out and how Thriller and everything else, right? This is kind of his start. So they didn't show that. So there are significant things that they didn't show, but it's not like you miss those things. It would have been nice, I think, for them to show the Wiz out of all those things I just stated. The Wiz was probably the most important thing that they probably should have showed. Um, so it is what it is. They didn't show that. And then they jump right into the Off the Wall album, which is it's Michael's fifth album, but it's his first solo debut studio album as a solo artist. So Off the Wall was released. It sold 20 million copies. Michael was 20 years old. So there goes his number two again, you guys. So again, we're going to be looking a little bit at how the numerology follows you. There's his number two again, all showing up in his Off the Wall album. And then for I think they did kind of show, they didn't really show the Grammy thing where he didn't win all the awards, which I thought was kind of a mistake too, only because that event in Michael's life is what kind of pushed him to make Thriller. When he got to those the AMA awards and the Grammy awards, he only won the album. He won an award for best male R&B vocal performance, and he wasn't happy with that because first of all, he didn't feel like his music was R&B. And he just wanted to be a regular artist, a regular global artist. And, he felt like it should have won more, which I feel like it should have won more too. Like I love the Off the Wall album. That album, really changed the face of music because disco was kind of dying out. And then he came along, with this kind of new, kind of fresh sound, and everyone kind of fell in love with it, right? So they didn't show that in the movie. So again, these are certain things they didn't show. They also showed him getting bubbles a little bit around this time, which he didn't get bubbles until a little later. So they kind of conflated some of the stories. But like I said, this is entertainment. This is what they do in the entertainment industry. They have to conflate it a little bit so they can get the whole story out. Okay. So this is what they do. So all of this is happening that we're looking at on the screen. This is all Michael Jackson's developmental cycle, which is his first cycle, which would be a number 8. So like I said, that's even significant because this is numbers matter 26, which adds up to an 8. So anyway, so then they, of course, they showed Thriller. And I thought Jafar was fantastic. When I saw Jafar, when he came out and he was doing the Thriller number, like when he did the, when they do the shake on the side, like everyone in the theater screamed because he looked just like Michael when he did it, and, like, the little body gyration was just I don't know, it was just like a vibration that everyone in the theater felt, so everyone kinda screamed when he did that part. And it was really amazing to see him do that. It was amazing to see him really turn into his uncle. He really transformed into Michael during his time. And like I said, that's something that is indicative of a Leo. Leos love to perform. You know, we're very dramatic. I'm a Leo too, so I'm saying we. Me and Jafar, right? I'm in his company. So we're very dramatic. We love to perform. We're very creative. And Jafar is no different. And with him, he's a little bit of a more receptive person because you see how quiet he is and stuff like that. That seven's a water number. So he's a fire sign with a water number. So he's a bit more receptive, but he's a specialist. I mean, number sevens are specialists in everything they do. They're experts. Once they put their mind to something, they turn into experts of that thing. And like I said, his first cycle that he's going through right now, which he's still in his developmental cycle, he is in a seven cycle. All his cycles will be a seven. So I expect great things from this young man kind of moving forward. I don't know what his goals and dreams are moving forward, but I expect great things from him. I really do. So I thought that was cool. And so let me just double check this to see where we are. You know what? I am going to share this other screen. Hold on, guys. Let me take this down because I do think I have a couple more things on this other screen that I want to share. Let me see if I can get it up here right. And I really want to thank y'all for tuning in. I know this was a very impromptu live. Haven't done Numbers Matter in a while, and I really want to try to get back to doing these at least once a month. I'm very busy. I have a lot of other things that I'm working on right now, so I haven't been as much coming on doing the lives. But I do want to say to everybody that's watching, make sure that you're tuned in tomorrow. I have two videos dropping on Numeralytics for May energy. Remember, May starts tomorrow, May 1st. So we have the monthly energy for May, which includes the cosmic energy of the month, also your personal energy for the month. So you can tune into that to get your personal energy. And then you can also tune in. So that's going to be at 6:30 tomorrow. We're dropping the forecast for the whole month. And then tomorrow morning, I'm dropping the weekly forecast just for the first week of May. So make sure you guys tune in to Numeralytics for that. All right, I got the other slide up here. Let me go ahead and share this. Yeah, Jafar did a wonderful job. Like I said, he is a specialist. With all he's got 777 as his numbers for his cycles and his date of birth. He has zero challenges throughout his whole life. All of his challenges are a zero. And what that zero challenge, what that normally denotes, is that you're either going to basically um, the universe will give you challenges if you don't pick your own. And then the other thing that Zero Challenge does is it implores you to develop your spiritual side, which I believe Jafar doesn't have a problem with because he's already got all those sevens in his name. So he's already a very spiritual person. So like I said, I really expect great things from him moving forward. He's still, a very young man and he has a lot ahead of him. And he's also a life path 3. And with that life path 3, it's creativity, it's self-expression, it's using your words, it's creating, it's, being artistic, it's being popular. So he has all that going for him. And these are the things that he does. Those number threes, they can light up a room with just walking in the room. They light the room up just with their presence, their smile, they're very cheerful and positive people and their joy, and they bring laughter. They make people laugh, and they're very entertaining. So doesn't surprise me at all about Jafar. Like everything about him I see. I can see why he was able to do this. I can see why he was able to transform into Michael. So yeah, it was very phenomenal. Like he did phenomenal. He did a phenomenal job. So let's go ahead and put the slides back up here so y'all the slide back up here so y'all can see. So again, I had the one of the old ones. So just showing you that this from age 1 to 28, Michael was in his developmental cycle and that was a cycle number 8. So again, that's big business. That's kind of a tough cycle for a first cycle because you're a child, and that 8 wants you to handle authority. It wants you to handle money and power and all that kind of stuff. So that's tough for a child to take on that type of power and authority in the first cycle. But we can see that through Michael's life because look at everything that he went through starting at the age of 5 is when he really started his career. So he's and that 8 also is a maturity number and it lets me know that you know, Older people are going to be attracted to him, and he's going to be attracted to older people. So throughout his life, when he was young, he was not around nothing but older people, and older people attracted him, even women. Diana Ross, that whole thing. Um, and as he got older, he was, had younger people that were attracted to him through some of the other numbers in his numerology. So, numerology can tell you a lot about yourself and a lot about what you're going to go through and what cycles, you're in. It's going to let you know the type of environment you're going to meet and what type of inner response you're supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his parents did do a good job raising him. So we have someone in the audience. Let's get your comments up here. NKO Sazana 33 the third. I'm probably saying that wrong. But you've always been a fan of Jafar and you're proud of him and you can't wait to watch the movie. And his parents did a good job raising him. And yeah, and then Denise said that she was in the third grade when Thriller came out. So yeah, I don't know what grade I was in. Let me see, 1982. You were in 3rd grade. I probably wasn't even in kindergarten yet, I think. I was probably, like, 3 or 4, going on 5 years old when that came out. So, yeah, I mean, he is, like I said, on some of the shorts that I've been putting out, Michael Jackson is Black American royalty family. You know what I mean? Like, he's Black American royalty, and, it just pains this US media and the US politicians and government and whoever you wanna call it pains them to be having to admit that a Black American is the greatest of all time, is the greatest of all time, the most influential, that brought peace, love, and healing to the world, like I always say we're going to do, and we are going to do that still. And Michael Jackson was an example of that. And everything that he did in his life, he was trying to show us that we can go a better way if we love on each other more. So this is what he was doing. And even in Germany at one of the movies premieres, all of the people in the crowd didn't want to leave after. They all stayed at the movie theater and had a big party, all black and white, all together, hugging, loving on each other, singing "Heal the World" to make it a better place. So this is the type of um energy you want. I can't do your math for you. You got to do your own math right now because I got enough math in my head. But this is the type of energy that Michael gave us. Okay. This is what he gave us in life. And now we see in his afterlife, his message continues to resonate. And that's very indicative also of someone with an expression number 8. Their legacy tends to live on and tends to get bigger after they go. I mean, they can create the legacy and it'll be there when they're here, but when they go, that thing just takes off like a rocket when you got that number 8 in your chart. So this is very, very important information and very important energy, you guys. And like I said, this is why the media trashed him. It's not just because, it's a few reasons. A, because he's Black American. B, because they know he's the greatest of all time, and that they know that he could single handedly change his world. Like he was single handedly changing the world, and they couldn't have that. The things that he was doing, all the power that he had amassed with getting Sony ATV and all of that, they couldn't handle that. So they had to take him out. Also, when we look at it, the politicians and the file people, they hated him, right? So all of them, what do? They're all in bed with the media. Of course, they paid the media to talk bad about Michael, talk bad about him then, and even in his death, they're still continuing to try to bash him and talk bad about him. And we know Michael Jackson would never hurt a child. He would never touch a child inappropriately. And especially since he was the one saving children from being touched inappropriately, right? He was the one trying to stop that from happening. And Michael didn't have a childhood. And this is what this movie showed y'all, guys. This is why the movie's so important because it's showing you how his character developed, his true character, and why he was the way he was, why he loved children so much, why he did the things he did. The movie, that's what the movie shows you. The movie's not here to, appease his critics. It's not here to appease the media and talk about his allegations. And, I seen Nia Long having a interview with some melanated gentleman. I don't know what his ethnicity was, but he was like asking her, like, oh, like, what do you think? Why wasn't the allegations in there? Well, first of all, use your critical thinking skills, dummy. The movie only goes to 1988. The allegations didn't even start to 1993 when he had gotten all that power and they was trying to take it from him. So how could the allegations be in a movie where the movie timeline ends prior to the allegations beginning? That's number one. That's just common sense. And if people in the media, they know that. They know that. So that was a bad faith question that they asked Nia Long. They did it in bad faith. And everything that they do about Michael Jackson's name in the media is bad faith. So I wanted to say that. And you know, the media trashed it. All of us that went to see it, we turned that right around and we're like, no, we don't know what they're talking about. That was the joint. Like that movie was it. It reminded us. It brought us back. People were screaming. I even seen one girl pass out in one of the movie theaters, just like people used to pass out with Michael's real presence. So Jafar must have had that little effect on her and made her pass out. So yeah, this is awesome, you guys. The movie was awesome. I was like a little kid in that movie theater. Like, I think if you've seen my pictures, I had a picture. I had my MJ outfit on with my MJ tie and my pin and all that. Like, I was ready to go. I was ready to get up and do a little dance, but I didn't want to embarrass my daughter. Because she's a teenager and they don't like when we act like that. So I was just trying to keep myself under control. Yes, Denise, I want to see it again too because I'm up here telling you guys what was missing and stuff, and I'm like trying to think back because I was so excited through the movie. I was just smiling the whole time. Like I really had joy in my heart the whole 2 hours or 2.5 hours, however long the movie was. I smiled the entire time. My heart felt light as a feather, which is what we're supposed to be, you guys. We're not supposed to be on Earth stressed out, worrying about going to work to pay to live on a planet that is free. Okay. So we're supposed to be happy and joyful. And that's what Jafar brought back to us. He brought that joy, he brought that happiness, he brought that life back to the people to show us, you know what I'm saying? To show us how much Michael Jackson meant to us, to show us how much he did for the world and how he really, really, really tried to change the world. And he didn't just talk about it, he was about it, right? His actions showed that he changed the world. He donated his entire, you know, victory toward fund, to children, So this is the type of man that he was. This is the type of man that he was, and the media tries to destroy that because they don't want to see Black Americans win. This is also a very poignant time for the movie to come out because there's a lot going on with our ethnicity and our nationality as Black Americans. We have a lot going on with us trying to do a fight for reparations and us standing on our lineage and all this kind of stuff. Our grassroots movement is in full effect. So this movie coming out at this time, I'm telling you guys, it's a boost for us as Black Americans. I want y'all to stand 10 toes down on your business. Like, don't let nobody talk shit about Michael Jackson. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need to be bigging him up and letting people know and reminding people who he was. Reminding people that he's a Black American greatness. You know what I mean? He is the bag, like I always say. So people hate that. They hate when we bring that up. But if it was anybody else, they would be bragging on their person. So why can't we brag on our person? See, this is the problem too, and I don't want to go too much off in a tangent on that, but I'm going to say this because, we as Black Americans have been getting bullied, punched down on for centuries. Okay. And not just from the dominant society, from all societies, from all cultures and all ethnicities that come to America based off of our work that we did in the civil rights. A lot of you is the only way you got here, and you come down here and you talk down on us and you don't hire us in your stores and you talk crazy. And this is the time where it's going to stop. It got to stop, and we're standing 10 toes down on that. So remind people every time you can who Michael Jackson was and what his lineage was. You know what I'm saying? Let them know and stand on business, and then you'll realize why the media treated him like that. They treated him like that because of who he was, because of what he was, and because of what he could do, and because of what he was doing. And that's why they had to take him out. So we just got to keep stuff in perspective, family, and just understand, behind some of this stuff, there's motives behind everything that these people do in the industry because it's very evil. The industry is very evil. And all of that's interconnected, so they all have the same goal. But we're going to get off of that now. We're going to get back into the movie. So yeah, so let me see where we were. We got to 1979. They did Off the Wall, and then they jumped directly into Thriller. See, on this one, I don't have the all Thriller stuff on here. It's kind of on the next one, but I have it down here. Then they jumped right into Thriller. So all of this stuff when they jumped into Thriller was on there. Now, what they didn't talk about, they did talk about his burn. They showed the Pepsi. Oh my God, y'all. I don't mean to do no spoiler, but the Pepsi thing is going to probably make y'all cry. Like that's the only time that I wasn't happy during the movie. I actually shed a tear when he had the Pepsi commercial and they showed it. The guys they showed what happened to him, and I also want to say that after that Pepsi thing happened to him, that's what kind of jump started and kick started his autoimmune disease, which was lupus and vitiligo. He had both of those diseases, and they were autoimmune diseases. And after that Pepsi incident is what kind of sparked that. It's almost like when you watch like the X-Men and they're mutants, so they usually go through some type of stress and it brings out that mutant gene. That's almost what I feel like happened with Michael. Like he went through that all of that stress and then he had that burn and it brought out the deficiencies in his gene and it brought out his illnesses that he had. It kind of it exacerbated those things, so it's it's very unfortunate. That was the saddest part of the movie to me when that happened. So they did talk about that. They also showed where he did the donation to donate all of that money. He donated a bunch of money in 1984 to the burn unit. And he took the money that he would have gotten from the Pepsi money, which was about 1.5 million, and he donated that to the Michael Jackson Burn Center for Children. So I think that was fantastic. They did show that part. I thought that was great. Now, what they didn't show, which was an even bigger thing, was they didn't show the the what's it called? Why can't I pull it out? The We Are the World. We Are the World, We Are the Children. So they didn't show the We Are the World, We Are the Children stuff, which I thought was odd because that was a huge thing that he did. I mean, he raised tons of money to feed starving children in Africa. So I thought that was odd that they didn't show that. But again, this is entertainment. They have to slim it down for the movie. So they can't show everything. So that's fine. I was okay with that. They can't show everything. So then they just, like I said, they jumped into thriller. But what I was kind of annoyed about, like they did the thriller thing, but they didn't show like the Billie Jean. I wanted to see the Billie Jean video. Like I wanted to see the lights and all that and him dancing on the lights. I wanted to see, they didn't show that, but they did show like a little snippet of him breaking the race barrier. So for those that do not know, Michael Jackson broke the color line barrier at MTV. Back I want to say in 1985. Was that 85? No, he did that in 85. So I guess that was in 19 around 83 or 84. I don't have the exact date here. It's probably on here somewhere, but I can't really see it. So, but he broke, yeah, MTV debuts Thriller in 1983. So between 1983 and 1984, that's when he broke the color barrier line. They did show that. I thought, they didn't spend a lot of time on that, which is understandable. But they did show it. So I thought that was great because Michael Jackson is the reason that a lot of us are able to even have our videos on well, used to have our videos on MTV. We're in the era now where MTV doesn't even do music videos anymore. So that's how far removed we are from that. But if it weren't for Michael Jackson, a lot of artists wouldn't have their video in there. So that is that. So let's look now, you guys. We're going to get over to the to his next phase, which is his productive cycle, which is a master number 11. So let me just let this play a little bit until there we go. So now let's get this in here. So we're getting into the movie does go into his productive cycle. So your productive cycle starts at age 28, goes to age 56, is denoted by the month you were born, by the day you were born. So he was born on the 29th month. 2 plus 9 is 11. So he was in a master number 11 cycle, which is understandable, right? Because this is where he really takes off on his own. He has a lot of his, inventions with different dance moves and different things that he's doing with the movies. They also didn't have his Moonwalker movie in there. So I thought, that was strange that they didn't put that in there. But again, entertainment, they had to cut what they had to cut. I get that. They did show him getting diagnosed with vitiligo, you guys. So he got diagnosed with vitiligo in 1986, and they showed him at the doctor, and they showed him being diagnosed with that. They did show him getting his first nose job. They showed that, and then they showed everything went bad. They showed how he brought the Bloods and the Crips together. And I thought that was fantastic. That was a part that everyone was kind of jumping out their seat after. So that's pretty cool. And then let me see, 1987. They didn't show anything about the NAACP, and then he released Moonwalker in 1988. So Moonwalker might very well be a Michael Part 2. They don't say to what month they stopped in 1988, but in 1988, that is when Moonwalker was released. So they didn't show that, but maybe that's going to be in Part 2. I'm not sure. And then he actually um, signed a deal worth 65 million in 1991 that allowed him to acquire that other part of the Sony catalog, that ATV catalog. So that's how those two kind of merged. All right. And then I'm not going to go into the rest of the slides because it's really just talking about the rest of his life. And it's very unfortunate. He obviously was robbed of his cycles early. But yeah, the movie stops right there. So the movie stops about right here, you guys. Right here in 1988. Okay. So the movie covers his developmental cycle and the first like 3 or 4 years of his productive cycle, and that's where it ends. So if we were to get a sequel, which we're getting a sequel, it's probably going to start somewhere like right around 1988. Maybe it'll show the Moonwalker video because that was now talking about that master number 11 productive cycle. His Moonwalker video was really a master number 11 thing because it's that it was never seen before that someone did a movie like that. So that was something that he definitely probably got a spiritual download from. Michael was always known to say that he didn't write his songs, that he got his songs from space, that he got it from the universe. He even attributes the Tree of Majesty, one of the trees that his treehouse was in. He attributes the tree to even giving him some songs. So, he really was a spiritual person. He really did have a connection to the spiritual realm with that master number 11. It's two ones standing up next to each other. So it's indicative of that bridge from the physical to the spiritual. So he was able to cross that bridge. And another thing that I'll say is the way that he danced. And when he danced, he was kind of in a flow state. His dancing in that flow state also probably allowed him to tap into the spiritual realm. Okay. So, and I've even seen some posts saying that when he would dance, he would tap into that spiritual realm and get inspiration from his great great grandmother, who was a Choctaw Indian and a shaman. So, you know, there you go. So, I really do believe that those things, but I just really wanted to come on here and talk about it a little bit and share my thoughts and just let everybody know that the movie was really fabulous. It really, Jafar did a great job in the movie. And I also want to remind everybody that Micah was proven innocent after almost 10-year investigation with almost 10,000 or more pages from an FBI investigation. They did not find one shred of evidence that Michael Jackson did something harmful to a child. All of his allegations he was acquitted of. He was acquitted of his allegations, proven innocent, even though the whole world said he was guilty before he even stood trial. Okay. So, with Michael, it's don't walk, moonwalk. So I just wanted to show that. And now, what I'm going to do real quick, because we're going to try to keep this at the hour. All right, let me get that done. That's down. Let me take that down. All right. Give me 1 second, family. Bear with your girl. Because what we're going to do now is going to be very interesting. I'm going to pull my website out and we're going to look at Michael Jackson's aspects. Okay. So you can see what a master he truly was. Okay. He truly, really was a master, you guys. And a lot of us, let me see if I can get this shared. Okay. Hold on. Stop sharing. And we're going to do the aspects now. I am the founder of Numerology Aspects. I created the system of Numerology Aspects. And I call the system whammy because it's your wants, your abilities, your must, and your individual frequency. And that spells out whammy. Okay. And that's what it's all about. So I'll get into it in a minute. Let me get the screen shared. And you can get your numerology aspects by going to my website at numeralytics.net. I do offer one free aspect. There's over 10 aspects that you can have in numerology. There are 6 inner aspects and then 4 outer aspects. And then on the website, I offer you to get a free aspect, okay? Your I am aspect. So I do offer that on the website. So if you head over to numeralytics.net, you can get your free I am aspect. And your I am aspect asks you, does your individuality align with what you must do? With what you came to earth to do, what you came to earth to learn? Does your mentality and your frequency align with that? Some of us don't, okay? And that's where we have friction in our life. So if you're not sure and you have friction in your life, you need to either reach out to me to get a numerology reading. I would tell you to start off with your keys chart. If you're a little bit more advanced, then you can do a whammy aspect reading, a numerology aspect reading. But check my website out, numeralytics.net. There's a lot of free tools. I have a free tool to get the universal energy for the day, week, month, the day, year, or month. I have this free tool to get your I am aspect. Now, what I'm on here is the full calendar. If you want to get your 4 inner aspects, you have to subscribe to the numerology cosmic calendar. It's $5 per month, but you not only do you get your aspects for free. So I'll just scroll up because this is what I wanted to do too. I wanted to show you guys this. So you also get the cosmic calendar tool for free, which gives you your up cycle guidance. So just like I do the universal personal guidance, you can come here on the website and get this every day. So you can come look at it every day to kind of see what your energy is doing for that day. Now that's $5. You can come here. It's unlimited. You can put as many days in it as you want. You can go to days in the past. You can go to days in the future. You can look at you can pull up other people's birthdays. So what I'm going to pull up right now, I'm going to pull up the numerology of the day that Michael's movie came out, and I'm going to pull that up with Michael's birthday, and I already have done that. So see, this is the calendar that I put in. The date was the 24th, and then Michael's birthday was August 29th. So on that day, Michael would have been experiencing, now get this, guys. Remember, he's a master number 11. And on that day, that was a 1 universal year, a 5 universal month, and that day was a master number 11 universal day, which again is one more notch under the numerology belt as to how special this movie was, and that it was in divine timing, and that it was in line with the spiritual essence of Michael Jackson. Michael would have been experiencing an 11 personal year, you guys. So his movie came out in an 11 personal year, the same number of his individual frequency. He would have been in a 6 personal month, which again, that's his life path. He's a life path 6. And he would have been experiencing a 3 universal day. And that 3 universal day is all about creativity, self-expression, kind of being popular, kind of putting your talents out there, kind of promoting yourself and, being artistic and doing it, putting your expression out there. So that's another notch under the belt to show me how special the movie was. I'm not going to read all of that, but this is what you would get if you were come to my website. Okay. You get what the universal day favors, the attraction resonant energy for the universal day. And this also tells you where the moon was on that day. So now let's look. On that day of the movie, the moon was in Leo. Jafar is a Leo. I feel like, someone from the cast must know about this stuff because they were spot on with everything. Or that's just energy. That's the thing. This is energy, guys. This is showing you how energy operates. So, of course, that element was fire, and that would have been good for people who are a Leo. Okay. So, again, that movie came out on a very auspicious day for everyone involved, Jafar and Michael. And then when you scroll down, this is where you get your numerology aspects. So, people who are in here who are already a part of my channel, they already have access to this and they've already been in here using it. So this explains it to you a little bit about how they work. And then you come down here and pop your information into the calculator. And then, so what we're going to look at in Chaldean system. We're not going to look at the Pythagorean system, but I'm just letting you know if you wanted to look at Pythagorean, you could. See, so I just changed it to Pythagorean. You just saw it change. I'm going to put it back to Chaldean. Okay, so you can look up your name in whichever system you prefer. I do give you a little bit of guidance up top about, which one you probably should use, but that's up to you. So I put in Chaldean, I put just Michael's first name in because I'm just doing this because the movie's name is Michael. And then I put in the birth date of the movie, which was 4/24/2026. So when we generate that whammy, that movie, once its soul urge is a 7, that's its once, its ability, its expression is a master number 22, like I talked about. It's must, which is his life path. It's a light that movie is a life path master number 11, you guys, just like Michael. And the individual frequency of the movie is a 6. Michael's life path number. So again, look at the numerology of the movie. All right. The 7 is the analytical seeker. The 22 is the master builder. Okay. The number 11 is the master visionary, the master illuminator. And 6 is the magnetic harmonizer, the galactic guardian. Okay. This is all right in lockstep with all of Michael's numerology, the movie. Okay, so now that you've seen that, we're going to actually do Michael Jackson's whammy so I can show you how special he really was. So let me go up here. I'm going to put his last name in, and then we're going to get out of here because I do want to keep this to an hour or under an hour. Michael Jackson. And then I'm going to put his date of birth in. Okay, so we can get his real whammy, 1958. Oops. And let's generate his whammy. So as we can see, like I said, his wants, his soul urge is a 6, his expression is a 8, his life path is a 6, and his individual frequency is a master number 11. Okay. So when we calculate that, look at this, look what this says. So these are the numbers. I just calculated them. This gives you a little bit of a breakdown. So here go his numbers. But this is letting you know that the overall tone for this person, Michael Jackson, is harmonic. And not a lot of us have a harmonic whammy, you guys. It's often very neutral. There's often a lot of friction and energy in there that's conflicting. So let's take a look. Michael wanted to be the magnetic harmonizer and the galactic guardian. He was able to have power and be an executive and have authority, money, and the power of concentration. Okay, he's good at that. He must learn how to be the magnetic harmonizer and how to be the galactic guardian, but also being that galactic guardian means knowing your own boundaries and your own limits and taking care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of nobody else. So with that 6, it's all about, balancing yourself out and making sure you're good and your needs are met, your care is met for, and then you can go ahead and be that magnetic harmonizer and that galactic guardian for everybody else that's coming to you for everything. See, with that 6, people come to you for advice, whether it's spiritual or material. Look at how his dad was just using him for money, so a lot of his numerology speaks to that. And then his individual frequency, which is the day that he was born on, is an 11. He's a master visionary illuminator. So we can look at that. I'm not going to read all of the element, planet, and gender. I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to read what his whammy was. Okay. So does his wants align with his abilities? Yes, this was very harmonic for him. This was amplified energy, okay, of double earth energy. And that means that you are very steadfast and reliable. It could denote that you're a little bit unmovable and slow to decide, but that's if you're working on the negative side of the numbers, which we can see Michael Jackson was a very positive person. So he had that steadfast reliability. Look at all this steadfast reliability. This is why he was able to create the legacy he did. He was able to have the work ethic he did. He was steadfast and reliable. He was focused. He was pragmatic. He was down to earth. He was humble. All of that earth energy that we see through his chart. So does his ability support what he must do? That's amplified again. That's that double earth energy, steadfast reliability, right? Harmonic. Does his wants align with what he must do? So does what he want to do in his heart align with what he came here to learn on earth? What his life path is? It's harmonic, steadfast reliability again. Now, does his individual frequency align with what he wants to do? That's also harmonic, you guys. So that is going to be his 11 with his 6, and that is harmonic, the 2 and the 6. Stable nourishment, that's for favorable growth. That's one of the harmonizing elemental combinations for favorable growth. Okay. Always something that you're growing, nurturing, a project, education, bettering yourself. All of that is what that stands for. Now, does his individuality support what he must do? Same thing here, guys, because his wants and his must are the same thing. They're both number 6. He wants to be the galactic guardian and he must be the galactic guardian. And this is what he did throughout his life. I can't make this up if I tried. And then does his individuality align with what his abilities are? That one was the only one that's neutral, and neutral's good. Long as it's not conflicting, that's fine. That just means that their energy's not interacting negatively with each other. So when we look at his full whammy, again, these are his inner whammy aspects. He has 5 harmonics, 0 complementaries, 1 neutral, and 0 conflicting out of the 6. Um, Out of those 6 aspects. So again, very harmonic, very harmonic whammy, very harmonic numerology aspects. He was very harmonic within himself. And this is the type of energy that he embodied, you guys. This is what he did. He was able to come here and have a legacy. That movie was indicative of his legacy. It was here to show us his artistry, show us the greatness that he was, show us what his journey was coming up to get him to that level, to get him to that point. All the other stuff, I'll leave it at the table because it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that. It was something for the fans. It was something to show his heart. And that movie showed his heart. It showed who he was. And if you left that movie not knowing really who he was, then I don't think you really watched it. So I really wanted to just come bring you guys that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So let's get through these comments a little bit. And I'm so glad you caught the live too, NKO. I am so glad you caught the live. I really do appreciate you being here. Sense ain't common. They be playing in our faces. Don't they though? Don't they though? And you said MJ was definitely a threat to the music industry. I'm glad the truth is coming out. I never believed lies about him at all. Not me either. Not for 1 minute. And I was really distressed when they were doing all that about him. When he passed away, it was very tragic for me and my family. Everybody. It was tragic for all of us. The whole human family on planet Earth was in a tragic state of mind when Michael Jackson passed. So that's what it is. And let me see one more thing because I think you said something that I wanted to read. Oh yeah, let's read this. Mike, MJ, and Prince, definitely 2 big icons and gems that promoted peace. Definitely the GOATs, and they were both Black American greats. And this is what I be talking about. This is why they don't really want us to have nothing, and this is why they subjugate us and push us down because they know how great we are and they know how much we can affect change. We are the chosen people, and that's just what it is. And Denise says she's going to see the movie again, and yeah, you're going to cry. You're going to cry definitely on a few parts. And you better get dressed up. And I want to see a picture because I got dressed up and I showed my picture. So I want to see a picture. And yeah, happy tears. That's right. This is going to be the only movie I see in theaters this year. Good, very good. And then let's see what you said. I think all Black folks get mistreated in America. She's a fair discriminator. Europeans don't care if you're Black American, Caribbean, or Black, British, or African. They have equal hate for all. I agree with that. They do have equal hate for us all. But then within that confine, there's another confine within that confine where some of those people even show that same hate that dominant society shows toward us. And it may not be in the same manner that they show it, but it's through the same tactics. So it's not saying that we're against them or anything like that. All it's saying is sometimes it's time to work on yourself. And with numerology, that's what it's all about. It's about knowing thyself and working on thyself. And that's what we're doing as a culture, as a people. We're starting to know thyself. We are waking up to the truth about who we are, about our true history, and about all the lies that they have told about our true history over time. We're standing 10 toes down on our business, and we're not letting nobody disrespect us. And we don't care what color you are or what ethnicity you are. We're standing on our business. So that's at the end of the day. Whoever's not respecting that is going to get they're going to get the sword, and maybe not literal, but they're going to get the sword because, it's a penalty or reward for injustice. For justice, you're going to get a penalty or reward. All right. So if people are showing injustice to us, no matter who they are, we're standing 10 toes down on business. So that's all I'll say about that. And it definitely is time for that. I agree. I agree. And listen, she says she's a part of the channel and she loves it. She's a subscriber. And I love that you're there. We also hold a class for our subscribers on the channel. We didn't have our class for April because April was a 5 universal month and it just went by so fast. I was so busy. I had 1,000 things going on. So we're definitely going to get back into class. Trying to get it done for May, but the dates aren't looking that great. So we may either get it done toward the end of May or the beginning of June, but we're definitely going to get back into the class and get everybody going. And NKO, you are a subscriber, yes, on YouTube, but we're talking about the subscription on numeralytics.net. So if you want to be a subscriber there, you have to subscribe there. It's $5 a month, and then you become a part of the channel. You become a part of the website family. Okay, we have a family on the website. It's the Cosmic Collective. It's the Cosmic Calendar Collective. Okay, when you subscribe there, everything that I just did on that whammy screen is what you get access to. So you can go put your information there. You can put your mother, your father, your kids, your brother, your sister, your enemy, your job, your boss, whoever you want to put in, you can put in and get their numbers. You can see where the moon is every day. It also gives you the resonant energy about who the moon is favoring that day. It gives you a lot of stuff, and you get your 6 whammy aspects through that subscription on the website. So we'd be happy to have you. And whoever does join that subscription, you will get an email from me thanking you, and then we will get you set up with the Cosmic Calendar class that we do monthly. We only had one class, but we're going to have more. So again, that's it, you guys. I don't have anything else. I just really wanted to come on here and share that message. I also want to make sure that you guys tune in tomorrow to Numeralytics so you guys can get all of the energy. Let me see. Let me put this back up here. Hold on. I'll put this up here. Let me share this. I want you guys to tune into Numeralytics tomorrow so you can get the energy report for May. Remember, the energy changes, really changes every day, every month, every week. So tomorrow, May 1st, starts a whole new monthly energy. It starts a whole new weekly energy. So I'm going to have 2 videos. The weekly energy video drops in the morning. The monthly video for the entire month that has your personal energy in it drops at around 6:30. So I want you guys to tune in, and I want to thank you guys. Yep, it is a great price, and I want to thank all you guys for supporting me and for subscribing. And I really want to thank all the new subscribers. You know, I'm in a challenge to do I'm in a challenge with myself to get to 1,000 subscribers on Numeralytics. We're at about 540 right now. So I'm very appreciative of everyone that has subscribed to the channel. I really do love you guys. I love all of you, and I want your interaction. I love coming up here and doing lives. I know I haven't done them a lot, but I love interacting with you and getting your feedback. And you know, I'm going to do a couple of shows that people have texted me on the moon line that they want me to do. But just know that I am here for you guys if you need me. You can check my website out. There's plenty to do on there. Go on the website and get a birthday card, okay? Don't forget that I created these Astro-Numerology birthday cards for you guys to be able to give to your loved ones, okay? I also have Cosmic Cubs that can be customized. If you want to customize Cosmic Cub, do not order it online. You need to send me an email, or you need to text me on the moon line at 302-492-7722, and I'll get your information so we can get you a Cosmic Cub. But the birthday cards are there. You can go ahead. It gives you instructions if you don't know how to do it to buy the correct birthday card for the person. Okay, and don't forget that I have my journals on Amazon, the Balancing Elemental Energy journals. These journals are only $10. It's the best 10 you'll ever spend. Got plethora of information in those journals, also some prompts, and then the journal pages for you to go ahead and do your thing. So again, do not miss the May upcycle forecast tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to say peace, love, kings and queens up to everyone out there in the nation. And so on the website, let me just show you real quick what you do. So I'm going to come out of this page and share my screen. I'll show you real quick what to do on the website, okay? Um, Go to the Cosmic Calendar preview page, scroll all the way down, and click the button that says unlock the full calendar. And then it's going to ask you to register, okay? It's going to register you. Make sure you record your username and your password so you don't forget it, okay? And get registered. Get registered on there. I'm keeping it cheap right now. It's $5 a month. You get access to all of that, and you get access to me. So if you need, you know, you have questions, you can let me know. I wanted to share the screen, but I don't. think the computer is going to allow me to share the screen again. So I'm going to go ahead and get this closed out. I really want to thank everybody that tuned in for the live. You guys are the real MVPs. I love you all. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed on BTV, you can go subscribe over there as well. We're going to be dropping some more dissection videos and getting more into the Black American topic over there. Okay, because we got a lot to talk about. And we got a lot to do, family. And again, I love everybody. Um, I want you all to be well, and I want you all to do well. Okay, all of us need to do well. This is why I come on here and do what I do and talk to you guys about numerology. That's what it's all about. So make sure you guys take care of yourselves and take care of each other. And I will see you guys when I do the next Numbers Matter. Make sure also I meant to mention Dreams, Dollars, and Destiny. That's a new channel that I'm doing with the other astro-numerologists. So make sure you're subscribed over there at Dreams, Dollars, and Destiny. This is what it looks like, just in case you need to know what it. I put the logo up. Hold on, let me put the overlay up. This is what it looks like when you search it. Just put in Dreams, Dollars, and Destiny in the search bar on YouTube, and it will bring that channel up. And you guys can go ahead and subscribe to that channel and watch the few videos that me and the two other astronumerologists have up on that channel right now. We drop every Monday night at 8 o'clock. So we have a new one coming to you this Monday at 8, which I believe is about Cream. Corporations rule everything around me. Of course, we took that from Wu-Tang. So love you guys. Have a great one. Reach out to me if you need anything. Peace, love, kings and queens up to the Universal Supreme. I am out.